Okay, joining us now from Americans for Tax Reform is President Grover Norquist. Grover, you found this bombshell. Okay, so President Biden, Chuck Schumer, they said, we're going to give the IRS, tens of billions of dollars, and you're going to do more audits. But we won't audit anyone making less than $400,000. But now the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration says, wait a second, the IRS is going to audit people under $400,000. Can you explain what's going on?
Yes. The number one promise that Biden made to get elected was that nobody who made less than $400,000 a year, no person making less than $400,000 a year, would see higher taxes. So then when he decides to give $80 billion to the IRS, the question came up, because he's only going to audit rich people, he says. Well, are you going to have more audits on people who make less than $400,000? And Janet Yellen wrote a strongly worded letter saying, I don't think we plan to right now. And that was enough for the Democrats who were balking at signing on to the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, the massive spending bill. They weren't going to vote for this because it was such a breaking of the president's pledge. Yellen sent a letter saying, well, we have no plans to do that now. And what's happened is, of course, CBO looked at it and said, there'll be, with what Biden did, there'll be 700,000 more audits of people who make less than the middle-income people, 700,000. And there'll be $20 billion squeezed out of those people, at least, okay? So this is very painful. And then the Democrats wanted protection, so Yellen wrote the letter. But when it came before the Senate, 50 Democrats voted no to the idea of limiting audits on people making less than $400,000.
So then the Treasury Inspector General goes over and talks to the IRS, says, the Treasury Secretary Yellen said, redefine high-income people, don't audit people before $400,000. The IRS says to the Treasury Inspector General, Tax Administration, IRS needs agility to audit whomever it wishes, basically says that. And the IRS's definition of high-income individuals is still stuck at, 200,000. I think that's a 1976 level. So the IRS is pushing back saying, we can't update our definition and our systems. We can't identify the population of taxpayers that meet the criterion of 400,000 or more, so it's status quo. We're just going to keep going forward as we have been, auditing whomever we want, no matter the income level.
That's the IRS talking. The IRS works for Yellen. The IRS works for the president. They could do it tomorrow. They could redefine high income from 200,000 up to 400,000, which is what the Inspector General suggested, which you point out, which would make it all easier. And the IRS says we have no intention of doing that. And the word you mentioned, agility, means we can go after anyone we want, and you can't stop us. We already have our $60 billion, so go away.